This is Justin AMZN on Monday, May 13th, 2019, with a look at what happened today. So we gapped down pre-market and then ran down underneath our line here at 1841.30, I think. Been a little while since we've been down here. 1841.30. There you go. Our next line is right at 1815. And I thought we were going to, well, we had this hammer, really large hammer down in this whole range, almost taking up the entire range in a single 5-minute candle. I thought we were going to come up here. We touched it once, twice, and I thought we were going to get all the way back down to 1815, and that just didn't happen all day long. So, after it made this quick move up, back down, looked like it was double bottoming, get the bulls loaded on, and then runs right back up into this line and rolls over. That was a phenomenal roller. Great place to go short. It's a lower low on the day. It's right at our line. Any of the bulls that thought, oh, this is it, we're double bottoming or we're triple bottoming or whatever, they're all loading on. You can even see the volume pick up. Here, let's zoom in on the day a little bit. So you can even see the volume pick up on these two bullish candles, which people typically treat as confirmation that, okay, it's going in that direction. And right there, immediately, the next candle breaks down, get some small indecision candles, and just continue to roll down right back below these lows. Oh, and there were some tweezer bottoms in here. Let's see, this was 5 cents off a tweezer bottom. This was right at 1825, an exact tweezer bottom. These two, not quite close enough, but the low and the close, I mean, what is that, 70, 65 cents apart? So, I mean, still really close. 3 tweezer-ish bottom candle pairs almost in a row. And then we take out all those. Not quite with this candle, but with these candles here. But then we don't get below this. It's like, okay, this was the low of the day. And let's see, was that the low of the day? 1816 and 18. I'm sitting a little further away from my computer than normal. 18. Why does that look like 1816? Is that 1816? Or 1818? That was 1818. Sorry. Let me move the computer tablet. There goes the screen. Okay, there we go. I think it's actually, I don't think that happened to the video. All right. Now I can see it. 18, 18, and 1818. Great place to be buying, but still a little bit above the price at or the 1815 line. I mean, this would have been a phenomenal place to buy on that opening candle. Runs right back up here. And this one was a nice hammer that may not be bouncing. Looks like we're putting a little bit lower low. Be great to touch this pre-market 1815 and then get a gap up and open above here and trap a bunch of people and then just continue to run, trap a bunch of bears. I don't know if we're going to do it though. Let's see. This is the daily. Where are we at here? Let's see. We've come down to this level before, just a small pullback. We ran hard into, well, through this level back on this breakdown. We're barely started on that. If that's the sort of breakdown we're going to have again. A lot of bearish candles in a row, a little bullishness, breakdown again, a lot of bearish candles. But some of this range, we were still in, this candle on its way down, rolling over here. I guess this one on its way up. So, and then these kind of on its way back down. So it's chopped through this area before. It's a much smaller range. Didn't expect to be range bound like something like this. But we will see if we can get going again bullish. The other thought I had with this candle, looking at it like this, is it feels like we shouldn't have gotten back down below these. Like these were indecision candles. This was a hammer. It looks like we should be bouncing from here. It's like we really shouldn't be down here. And so this is where a bunch of bears are going to load on thinking, okay, this is going to continue on lower. We did have an increase in volume over the last few days. The last two, maybe not as much. Yeah, I guess not as much. But what this reminds me of here is this candle right here, where we had a bunch of bearishness and then we gapped down and we ended up trading down and then traded up and closed up on the day. And that was basically somewhat of like a V bottom, I think, this day that continued. It was a great continuation. And this candle looks similar in that we're below a previous candle with a gap down. And it just feels like we shouldn't be low. I mean, we're way below the 21. This was way below the 21. So there's just some similarities with kind of what's going on at this price. This one, it was coming back into a support. This one, it did come back into a support and resistance. I mean, just right back here. We really chopped around in this area right here. We ran into it. This was the last time we were touching this price was from below, when we ran up into it. And then I shouldn't say touching this price because we did touch it on these like 4 candles, but we actually pivoted off of this, this level. That's what, did that just move? I think that moved. 18, no, it didn't. Okay, 1815. Sorry, my eyes jumped, I guess. So 1815, that's a nice level. We'll see if we can get a bounce off here because we interacted with it. There's a very strong resistance on our last trip back up, and S curve back down and go up higher, and S curve. We'll see if we can get a bounce going off of this level. Like I said, it'd be great to see a bounce tomorrow, bullish gap and go, and just run and be off to the races, and we'll see what happens next. Or if it can just kind of mosey on up. If it does gap down, then look for it to come all the way down to, I think it's 1747. Yeah, 1747 would be a nice, good target next, because that's a nice next place to clear support, resistance, and if we pull back there, that should be a really good buying opportunity. So anyway, moving back to the 5-minute. Some great opportunities to go bearish here. This is at 940. So let's go look at the puts. This is 1775 put. Let's see at 940 was this. This was the low. It was almost down to 9, which at the open you could have gotten in. Looks like about 9 by 8, and that ended up running up. And then again here, this one ran up from like 10 up to 12, almost 13. I mean, this one probably would have been from 9 by 8, 9 up to 12. So 3R, 3R, and then again down here, getting in 9 up to 12, 3R. So that would have worked 3 times. It's just a little bit lighter volume. The issue is if you go a little closer, like 1800 put, you get much cleaner volume. The candles are much cleaner. But it just really chopped around, and it's really expensive. And so you could have had some lows here. Could have gotten some lows here. Let's see what this came in as. So 1293, and over here is 1250 and then 1285. So there was only a couple opportunities to get in at like 13 by 12, and even this one was totally missed out, getting in 14 by 13. I mean, it would have been tight to see that. Here with the low that broke a little bit below, breached the 13 price. So anyway, just hard to get things going and much more expensive on a put that's that much closer. We are really a stone's throw away from there if we come back to that price. Like I said, we should continue lower, getting into the 1747 range here. It's another no man's land. So if we get into it, watch for it to chop around for a few days, similar to this, big candles, small candles, whatever, and we'll kind of see what ends up happening from here. Great place for it to bounce. Hopefully we bounce, and that's been the overall trend. But I guess we will just have to wait and see. So, hope you enjoyed this video. This is, wait a sec, did I talk about, hang on, some of the calls? No, I just talked about puts in here. Okay, so calls, I was about to end the video. I'm like, wait, I didn't go over calls. There was a bit of a double bottom for me here. A little bit higher low. It looked like with the squeeze that was losing momentum here, maybe it could go higher. It did go higher, and then looked like it was double bottoming and starting to break out, and then it just rolled back over and got crushed. So this is a triangle here that did end up breaking out. This was the place to buy, like this candle, so that's 1245. look at the 1245 in the call. That would have been right here, getting out like 4, and you would have had to just scalp an R of getting out at 5. That's the 1900 calls. Good volume on those still. 1875, a little bit lower volume. Let's see. Yeah, this would have been getting in like 9/8, or maybe seeing me get in at 8 or 750. But it put in a little bit of a base here. Maybe would have needed a little more than $100 risk until I got into these prices. And then that went from like 9 up to only 11 here. So that would have been tough to get 2 R's out of that. And let's see, the high here is right at 11. So yeah, I'm not sure if it would work to go 9/8 and exit at 11. Just don't know how that would have worked out. Then let's look at 1850. And these are much more expensive. Let me see if I can clean this up a little bit. There we go. So these had a bigger move, but they were much more expensive to get into. Kind of a wedge sort of shape here, bounces, and then continues to roll back down. So we will see what happens to some of these options and the overall price movement. And yeah, this, after having, I think I drew in 3, right? 3 triangles in a row, we are finally getting a better move lower, and we'll look for some opportunities to continue to trade this. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This is just AMZN. Thanks.